All right, I started the recording, so we'll get going. We're gonna try to keep it quick today because we have a couple people off and it's Thursday. So I have two quick things to go over, and then Alicia's got a couple updates for you. So one of the things I wanted to bring up was that we're not getting modulus emails anymore. Just a reminder about that. A lot of those, all of those are now on the spreadsheet that I will send out when we send out the video. So just a heads up on there. That is associated by pub date, which you'll see multiple tabs on the bottom. So just make sure you're on the right day. Anything that seems wrong, just let your hub manager know. We'll double check with Modulus so that we get everything on the page. We have noticed too that some of the pod budgets don't have, that there are three smalls and a couple paids. So just make sure that we're the ones that are double checking if there's a reference to any modulus content, obits, milestones, anything like that. One of the things that we've heard feedback from the pod was that we are sometimes sending stories that need to be cut significantly. If time allows, we want to make sure that we're reaching out to the pod editor to make sure that they want to keep that story on that page. If it's small space, we can definitely plug it, add briefs, anything like that. That's better than, cutting the story by 600 words. We want to keep it to around 100 or less, 100 or fewer, excuse me. Just make sure that if it's more than 100 words, that we're making sure that they want to keep that story on that page, that there's significant information still on the page, the information that they wanted to get in. You can kern and lead the story too to see how much you can get in and how much will fit on the page for them. Things like that makes it a little bit easier for them as they don't all have the design expertise that we have to crunch or expand the text to make it fit. Those are the two things that I have. I'll send it over to Alicia.
All right. Thank you all for being here, especially I see some faces that aren't normally scheduled at this time. So thank you for showing up. I want to go over what's going to change for Brightspot, just so we're all on the same page. And if you have questions, we can answer them here together. One thing before we do that is another big change that we will be going through soon is that Joe's schedule is going to be changing. He is going to be moving into more of a hybrid role where he'll be doing some work with the pod and some work for us. And so with that, his schedule is going to change to Sunday through Wednesday. That change will take effect the week of Christmas. And as some of you may be thinking, that does leave us without a hub manager on Saturdays. We had a discussion about that, and essentially it's relatively uncommon for things to come up on Saturday. We're doing 3 relatively small e-editions and then working on some Rochester Advance. So the Friday hub manager will assign out pages before they leave. And then if there are issues or anything comes up on Saturday, then those people working Saturday will just give me a call. And I'll talk individually with those of you who regularly work Saturdays so we can make sure that we're all on the same page with how that's going to work and what that looks like. But we're going to give that a shot just because it felt like inefficient use of our staffing to have a manager on Saturdays when a manager was so rarely needed. And this is going to be a better use of our time, we believe. So, yes, that will start the week of Christmas, and we're hoping to get Emma moved shortly as well. So I will keep you posted on updates on that. And now let me present here, and I will show you this. So what I'm trying to do. Share. Sorry, it's been a long day. I'm just going to share my whole screen. You guys can see the whole thing. It'll be exciting. Okay. So the InDesign plugin that was installed on all of your computers recently, pretend that didn't happen. that's we're not using that. After much work by our IT department and a lot of back and forth, it's just not feasible for what we need it to do. It was going to make your lives much harder. And so IT figured out a plan B, which is a much better plan and should have been the plan A the whole time. So essentially, what it's going to change for you all is almost nothing. We will still get stories from Google. They'll still be linked in Google. We will still run our scripts exactly the same way as we did. Brightspot has some limitations in terms of formatting. So items that have a lot of formatting, calendars, sports agate, things like that, for the time being, editors are being asked to do those in Google and then just copy them over to Brightspot to post them. So that way we can make sure that the formatting is correct, because, the amount of work involved in, doing doing roundups by hand, or having to try to format somebody's scoreboard or something like that on the page is, it's not going to happen. So they'll be building stuff in Google, and then, they'll copy what they need into Brightspot, which a lot of them are doing right now anyways. So it's fine. Here's what's going to change. And that is that stories that do come directly out of Brightspot, instead of being a folder that has the document and several photos, the photos are going to be linked here in the publishing table. So as you can see here, this one has 2 photos that'll come with it. And then the photo caption will be right here as well. So instead of opening a photo in Google and then clicking over to the details to open it, it'll be right here in the publishing table. And then when you click on it, these are like dummy images, so they're smaller than the actual ones will be. Then they'll just be here. You can right click and save, and then drop them into Claro the way that you did before. And then your caption information is right here. This will make it easier and faster for the pod to be able to go through these things, because the captions will be right there. They won't have to click to open them to edit, and you all will have the same thing, that they'll just be right there for you. So it's a small change that I hope in the long run is for the better, but it's just something that we needed to do because of the way Brightspot works. Things were easier this way. One thing to note is that within these file names here, these links, the file name will be in there. So you'll be able to see on there that, if this one was labeled number 1 and this one was labeled number 2, you'll be able to see that right there in the link. So that is the update on Brightspot. That's simpler than I think what we expected we were going to get, which I'm pleased about. So questions? In short, for you all, everything will be largely the same. The way that the pod editors get the story will be a little bit different, so they're going to have to do a little bit of different work. So please be patient. Next Wednesday is the first day that we'll be doing some stuff under Brightspot, and it will be Fargo, Rochester, and Grand Forks, I believe. And those will be the only properties on Brightspot for the first few weeks until we get into the new year. And then the rest of the properties will come on. So again, please just have some patience with your pod editors as they work through that stuff. There might be some issues. If you notice any issues, if any formatting comes in funny, if anything looks strange, please make sure you alert the hub manager on duty right away, so that we can be tracking any of those issues and make sure we're getting them fixed as quickly as possible. But I hope this reassures those of you who have been worried about Brightspot. I know I heard from a few of you in the past couple of weeks that, yeah, things are largely the same for us, except for we'll just be downloading the photos from a slightly different place. But from there, the process is exactly the same into Claro, onto the page. Questions, concerns, anything? All right, I'll give it a second here in case somebody is typing something. But with that, I mean, thank you all for everything you've been doing as we work through the pod, everything that we'll do as we get Brightspot on next week. Next week, we'll be taking the final properties onto the pod, which is just the Lakes group papers. That's all that's left. So Monday, we'll take Alexandria on, Tuesday, Perm Wadena, and then Thursday, Park Rapids and Detroit Lakes. And then everyone except for the Wilmer reminder will be in the pod. And I'll talk to Wilmer about that soon, because I'm not sure exactly why we skipped that. It just sort of got overlooked. But then everything is on the pod. You shouldn't have to be going to editors. Editors should not be contacting you. if editors are contacting you, again, let us know, because they should be going through their pod editor. I hope that you all feel like these changes are overall positive. Things are working well for you, and just keep letting us know. Paula said, was there something about holidays? The holiday stuff should be figured out within, if not tomorrow, then we'll have it Monday for sure. It looks like essentially the pubs are all just pushing their Friday deadline earlier. So Thursday will just be really busy that week. And I'm currently sending messages to editors to talk about if anybody's planning to do e-edition remakes on Friday for Christmas Eve, or if we can just have a day where we hardly have any paper, what that looks like. And then New Year's Eve will probably have more remakes because there's bowl games that day. But we are cautiously optimistic that we may be able to go with fewer staff than we have scheduled right now for some of those holiday days. Like I said, we'll have that figured out as soon as possible. Emma's been working on that, and as you all know, she's not been feeling well lately, so she's doing her best, and we'll have it Monday at the very latest. So, all right, well, thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you again to those of you who logged in off your normal schedule so that you could be here for this. But let us know if you have questions, stuff that comes up again. Thank you all. Bye.